See, we have two types of virtual warehouses. See, yesterday we have discussed very clearly that virtual warehouse is a hardware resource or Snowflake environment. Fine. Today we will discuss little bit more details on virtual warehouse. What are the options we have? Some XYZ. Fine. So we have a single virtual warehouse and multi-cluster virtual warehouse. Multi-cluster virtual warehouse. Now, once again, yesterday I shown that are that different size of virtual warehouse also. See here. So these are the different size of virtual warehouse we have. Fine. While we'll discuss one by one what is single virtual warehouse and then what is multi-cluster virtual warehouse. See, we have two options to create the virtual warehouse. We can create single virtual warehouse or else we can create a multi-cluster warehouse. I will tell you one by one what is a single virtual warehouse. Single virtual warehouse will be created with the different sizes. Suppose I mentioned sizes can be defined with the different sizes. Sizes are different sizes. So based on the based on the requirement, we can create we can create the single virtual warehouse with the different sizes. In this single virtual warehouse, so based on our usage in a particular day, if any ETL batch up or any data load processing is executing and defined virtual warehouse size is not sufficient, then you have an option to increase the virtual warehouse size from one size to another size. So that is the option. We have in a virtual warehouse. That increasing the size from one size to another size, that can be called as a scale up. See, yesterday I mentioned, suppose if you are processing or if you are loading huge data into the data warehouse, at that scenario, suppose your virtual warehouse defined with the small size, but you are processing huge data into the data warehouse. Whatever we have created that virtual warehouse with a small size, it is not sufficient. So in that scenario, we are going to manually increase the size of your virtual warehouse to complete the particular task. While increasing while changing a size of the virtual warehouse size, it will not create any problem or it will not create any hurdles of your processing. Without disturbing your process, you can able to increase virtual warehouse size. So that is about the single virtual warehouse. We'll see what is the multi-cluster warehouse. Here in multi-cluster warehouse, we have a different options. So you need to remember those things and all. You need to it will cause a little bit confusion, but have patience. And then so it has this multi-cluster warehouse has the multiple options. We need to remember. We'll discuss one by one. I don't confuse you. I will make all these options as a simple. Try to understand. In between, if you get any doubts, just just stop me and then ask immediately, because we have multiple options here. In a high level, I can say in single virtual warehouse, in single virtual warehouse, in single virtual warehouse, you need to increase the virtual warehouse size from one size to another size manually. 1 second, guys. I'm getting disturbance in background. In single virtual warehouse, we need to manually increase the virtual warehouse size. In multi-cluster warehouse, automatically based on your requirement, virtual warehouse size will be increased. Virtual warehouse size will be increased. We'll see one by one. So in multi-cluster warehouse, while creation of this multi-cluster warehouse, we will be having the options mode. We will be having the options mode and then scaling policy. I will show you. This is your Snowflake account. I will make you to create this Snowflake account. Don't worry. See, here you need to give the virtual warehouse name, and then you need to select the sizes. See here, you have options multi-cluster warehouse option. So here you have mode, and then scaling policy option. In mode, you have auto scale and then standard. In standard, you have economy and then standard scaling policy. Those options we will discuss. What are those options? Fine. I will once we create in next session, we are going to create a Snowflake account and we will explore all the options. And also, I will make you to create the Snowflake account and also explore all the options. For now, just listen what are the options we have with the virtual warehouse. And try to understand. See here, we have a mode and then we have a auto scale and then maximized options, two options. Just listen. If you get confusion, just ask me. And another option, we have a scaling policy. That also has the two options, standard and then economy. While creation of this virtual warehouse, we need to select these options and then create the virtual warehouse. I will explain what is each combination, what is the meaning of each combination. We'll discuss one by one. See, very first, you will select the mode as a auto scale, and then scaling policy is the standard, one option. Second option is you will select again auto selection, auto scale. Scaling policy is the economy. Second option. This is a second option. Third option is if you select mode as a maximized. See here, you will be having it two options here: mode, auto scale, and then maximized. Scaling policy, standard, and then economy. Here, if you select mode as a first option, auto scale, and then standard. Second option, mode as a auto scale, and then scaling policy is the economy. Now, first combination is done. This is done. Now, we are going to discuss with I will explain all this thing. Second one, mode is maximized. Now, if you select a mode is maximized, then there is no option to select this scaling policy. Directly, we can select this maximized only. Then we will select one. We will discuss one by one. Again, if you select first option I'm discussing, again, mode equal to auto scale and then scaling policy equal to standard. When you select this mode equal to auto scale, see here, mode is auto scale and then scaling policy standard. Then when you select this mode equal to auto scale and maximized, see here, things will change here. So here mode equal to auto scale means it will give you a minimum number of clusters and then maximum number of clusters. So these are the servers. Nothing but providing a hardware capacity to your Snowflake. I will tell you one by one. So here you can select the minimum cluster and then maximum clusters. Guys, getting confusion, huh?
Not confusion, sir, but I think you said maximum number of clusters is 5, right? Here in the auto scale for the standard, and it looks like in the UI it's showing 10. So
no. I have given the random values here.
Oh, it's just a value you gave. Okay, gotcha. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I have given the random values here. I have not given
Right.
exact values.
Okay, I thought it's the maximum bound. Okay.
No. I have given for example. Now, see here, if you select the minimum number of clusters as 1 and then maximum number of clusters as 5, what is the meaning of this means? And if you select a mode as a auto scale and then scaling policy as a standard means mode as a auto scale and then scaling policy as a standard means, and you have selected minimum number of clusters 1 and then maximum number of clusters 5. Now, what is the meaning of this combination means? Whenever we are processing any data and trying to load the data into the Snowflake environment, or number of users are submitted IO request, concurrent users are submitted their IO request to the Snowflake environment. Now we have a multiple requests in the queue in a Snowflake environment to execute. So based on the number of requests are there in the pipeline in a Snowflake to execute, it will calculate that. Initially it will check with the minimum number of clusters 1 and then maximum number of clusters 1. Even though if you define a maximum number of clusters are 5, then it will check with the minimum number of clusters 1 and then maximum number of clusters 1. Whatever we have a request in the pipeline, internally it will calculate that. Those defined number of clusters are whatever we have a requests are in the pipeline, those requests are completed with the minimum number of clusters 1 and then maximum number of clusters 1. Then it will execute with the minimum number of clusters 1 and then maximum number of clusters 1. It will complete and then it will execute. And also, if the requests are there in the queue are not able to execute with the maximum number of clusters 1, then it will add the one more automatically. It will add the +1. Nothing but minimum number of clusters 1 and then maximum number of clusters 2. Similarly, again, if we have a more requests in the pipeline, if the maximum number of cluster 2 is not sufficient, again it will add the one more cluster 2 plus 1. Like that, whenever we have a use process in the Snowflake environment to complete the task, whether it is a data load, either it is a data process, whether it is a IO request. Based on the requests are available in the pipeline, We don't know. Suppose I am loading a data, you are submitting your IO request, another guy is also submitting a IO request, one more user also submitting their IO request. Now, concurrently, multiple users are submitting a multiple request to Snowflake environment. So, in such scenario, the Snowflake environment has received the multiple requests from the multiple users. Parallelly, at the same time, all the requests need to be completed. To complete that all the requests, the Snowflake required a sufficient hardware resource. In that scenario, if you created a multi-cluster warehouse with the minimum and the maximum number of clusters, based on the number of requests are available in the queue, internally it will calculate that minimum number of clusters and then maximum number of clusters is one is sufficient, then it will execute with the one itself. If not sufficient, then it will add the +1. Nothing but a maximum number of clusters 2. 2 is also not sufficient, it will add one more +1. Like that, based on the requirement, automatically the maximum number of clusters will be added automatically without creating any problem to complete your all the requests. So this is the meaning of auto scale and then scaling policy standard. Now you are clear or not? See here, initially to start with the 1 and 1, and it is not sufficient, it will increase to the 1 and 2, and still it is not sufficient, it will increase the 1, 3, and then 1, 4, 1, 5, like that. Based on your requirement, based on the request, it is going to add one by one. It is going to add the clusters one by one, and then it will finish the all the requests which are there in the pipeline or queue. So this is the meaning of minimum. This is the meaning of mode equal to auto scale and then scaling policy equal to standard. Now tell me, guys, you are clear or not clear this one? Bhavana madam.
Shekhar, if if the requests are in pipeline, which reach the fifth cluster also, what is the next step?
Which is the
Means if we reach the fifth one also, number of clusters fifth one, 1 5.
see, that's what we are going to define maximum 5. So if
If it was reached the fifth one also, what is the step?
so in that scenario, so again, if reaches the fifth one, still if you are seeing delay in the process, then you need to go into the manually increase the maximum number of customers to 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah. Bhavana, you are clear or not clear?
Yes, Shekhar, I'm clear.
So, sir, when we say cluster, right? So how many nodes are we talking in each cluster? Is there you can set the number of nodes? Like I understand cluster is like a combination of EC2 servers, right? Here in this case.
Correct.
So
now,
do we know how many? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No. So once we define this virtual warehouse with these clusters, fine. So this virtual warehouse can be used by multiple users, multiple sessions. So who is allocated this virtual warehouse? Those by number of users can be used.
Right. I think I got that, sir. But what so cluster is, so we don't know how many nodes will exist in the cluster. It's just we don't know. Basically, when we say cluster, it just creates some X amount of machines as a cluster. That's what you're saying.
No, not like that here. Not like that here. Just see,
okay.
This is here. Clusters, nothing but here the servers.
Correct.
Fine. Servers. So this is the the hardware capacity which is provided to a Snowflake environment. Fine.
Okay, I think I'm understanding, sir, but that's okay. Yeah, I think we'll move forward. If you have any questions, I'll try to understand later because I come from a Hadoop background, obviously. as well. So I'm thinking cluster is like a multi-node and the master and slave and all that stuff. But I think it's different here, EC2 machine, and it will automatically, like, you know, if once is one IO is full, then it will basically, it will start another cluster. And we just set the hardware limit and stuff like that, not necessarily the number of machines, and it will take care of it. That's what I'm understanding. But
That's,
yeah, I'll, yeah,
that's why if we compare, then we will get the problem.
sure, sir. Yeah, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah.
Next,
Shekhar,
yeah.
so how to decide the cluster size and what factors will influence to while deciding?
How to define the clusters? What factors we need to consider?
To decide the cluster size.
Yeah, that's what yesterday I mentioned, right? See, based on the 1 second. That is close to us. So that's why based on the number of users are connected to your environment, what are the transactions and what is the data load to your environment. So based on that, we need to create that. See,
Okay.
so how many numbers are generating? How many number of users are generating reports on top of your warehouse? So what is the size of data load daily to your data warehouse, and how many users are connecting to your data warehouse, and then how many users are really processing the data, and then how many users are submitting a request. So based on all these things, then we are going to decide the virtual warehouse size.
Yeah, got it.
Clear?
Yes, Shekhar.
Next option. So we are complete with the auto scale and then standard. Now we are talking about the auto scale and then economy. This is little bit different. You need to understand the same thing here. Also, we are going to define minimum number of clusters and then maximum number of clusters. But in case of earlier one, initially it will calculate that. So for the request, how many clusters are required? It will add one by one. In case of this auto scale and then scaling policy economy, what it will do, if the number of requests are there in the pipeline or a queue, in the queue, they can able to complete within the 6 minutes, then it will not increase the maximum number of clusters. If the requests are taking more than 6 minutes, if the requests are taking more than 6 minutes, then it will increase the one cluster to maximum number of clusters. Here there is a period here, 6 minutes. If the requests are available in the pipeline, they are going to execute within the 6 minutes, then that's fine. It is executing with the existing warehouse. If the requests are taking more than 6 minutes, then it will increase the maximum number of clusters to +1. Nothing but a next maximum number of clusters. So that is the difference here. Clear or not? Guys.
Yes, sir. But is that 6 minute configurable, or is it like a set in stone?
So that is inbuilt in Snowflake.
Inbuilt. Okay.
That is inbuilt in Snowflake, not defined by us. We are not going to provide this value while defining the virtual values. That is inbuilt.
Okay, so it's not configuration driven. It's basically
no. That's what we are not going to define that value.
Okay, sir.
So it will. Bhavan madam.
Yes, Shekhar.
Clear? Not clear?
Yeah, I'm clear.
You're clear. Super. One second. Now, if you go up, we have discussed auto scale and then standard, auto scale and then economic. Then we need to discuss the maximized here. we need to define the maximized. Once again, the maximized means mode equal to maximized means it will not give you option. It will not give you option scaling policy. Just if you select the mode here, if you select the mode maximized, it will not give you a minimum and then maximum clusters also. It will not. Here we have scaling policy, but if you select the maximized here, it will give you a only clusters to select. It will give you a only clusters to select. There is no standard policy also here. Then we'll discuss what is the meaning of this. What is the someone is pinging clear? Okay. The mode, if you select a maximized, then if you select a clusters equal to 5, what is the meaning of this means? Usually, so this is the rare case we are going to see. We are going to create with this option. We usually create this auto scale and then standard. First option. Usually we create the virtual warehouse and the multi-cluster warehouse, auto scale and then standard. This mode equal to maximized, and then it will give you only to select the number of clusters. What is the meaning of this is if you create the virtual warehouse with the mode equal to maximized, and then if you defined the number of clusters, what it will do to complete your all the requests, it will not calculate any time. It will use all the clusters at a time, and then it will complete the all the requests. That's it. It will use, suppose if you define 5 clusters, then it will utilize all the 5 clusters, and then it will complete all the existing requests in the pipeline. So that is a maximized. So this is not recommendable because see, whenever suppose if the virtual warehouse is using a minimum number of clusters, then that much of amount you are going to pay to the Snowflake. If the maximum number of customers are using, then the more cost, the more cost you are using. So that is a funda here. So how many number of clusters you are going to use, then that much of cost you need to pay. If the minimum and then maximum number of clusters, that's why that very first option, this mode equal to auto scale and then standard policies. This is standard policy. So here it will add one by one. If the minimum and the maximum number of clusters less, then you are going to pay the amount to the Snowflake less amount. If the number of clusters are using more, the more cost you need to pay the Snowflake amount. Snowflake to the Snowflake. So here, if you create a virtual warehouse with the mode maximize and the number of customers are 5, directly it will use all the clusters, and then it will execute and it will complete your request. So here is to perform or to complete your request, it will use all the clusters. So that is the difference here. Clear or not, guys?
Yes, sir.
Shekhar, I have a question here. So when you said when the mode is maximized, we use all the clusters. So whereas the mode is standard, and when we give minimum clusters like 1 to 5, and if you're getting a request, if you're getting the request satisfied in cluster 2, then they are going to charge for only 2 clusters, even though we gave maximum clusters as 5.
That is the beauty there. That is what, even though if you use minimum cluster 1 and then maximum cluster 1, even though if you define maximum cluster as a 10, then you are going to utilize only minimum and then maximum cluster 1, then you are going to pay for that only, not for the 10.
And what about the economy? So what is happening in economy is it is adding after
Economy also there. There is a little bit slight difference. You wait for the
I
6
mean,
months and then it
so
will.
yeah, what I understood is like if we have used our maximum clusters, say 5, and it is entering and it is automatically adding the 6th one, and if the request is satisfied in the 6th cluster, we are paying for 6 clusters. Is that what I should understand now?
Correct. How many number of clusters are using
Okay.
for those? For that you are going to pay.
All right. Thank you.
In maximized, if you define 10, then parallelly all 10 clusters are used. In maximized, if you define 10, then all parallelly all 10 clusters are used. So that is the thing here. Clear or not, guys? Confused up?
No, sir, it's clear actually. Yeah. So in the maximize, it's just running parallelly. It's spinning all the clusters parallelly, even though the workload is there or not. So we'll get charged for all the clusters.
So then there will be a more cost. Now we
Right.
have a one more option in virtual warehouse. See here. We have one more option here. Apart from this mode. 1 second. See here, advanced warehouse options, auto resume, enable, auto suspend, enable. See here, if you disable this option will, if you enable this option, then you will get this option. Suspend after minute. So you need to give the time here, minute. If you, especially this auto suspend, if you disable, you will not see this option. Just disable this, you will not see this. Suspend after, you will not see this option. See here, if you enable this, it will ask you a time. What is the meaning of this? This is a scaling policy. This is a scaling, nothing but the beauty of this Snowflake is you have defined this virtual warehouse, and then you are utilizing for all your requirements. So with this option, auto suspension option, if you enable this auto suspension option and then provide the time, so whatever you have entered enter the numbers here, that will consider as a in minute. If you enter 2, then it will take as a 2 minutes. If you enter 60, then it will take as a 60 minutes. Usually we use a 10 or 20 minutes here. That's it in best practice. Now, what is the meaning of this means is, if you do 10 minutes after completion of your work, after completion of this is my session. This is my session. Fine, this is my session. After completion of your work, if you are not using, basically, what is this right time? 10 minutes.
Default time. He is asking about
No,
default time.
default time. See, usual best practice we can give here 10 or 20 minutes, not in a default time. So you can enter here. You can enter whatever the time. Usually we use 10 or 20 minutes. That's it. Clear or not?
No, sir. Like he's saying, like if you switch the toggle of auto suspend, by default it is taking as 10. Like that is asking.
No. If you disable this option, then where is the matter of this value? No, it is not like that. No,
just asking if it is not used for 10 minutes, it automatically suspends. That's the setting we are setting, right, sir?
No. That's what. If you enable this option, if you do the 10 minutes, that's what. If you do the 10 minutes, whenever you complete your work, and whenever you are not using continuously 10 minutes, automatically it will go into the suspension mode. When it goes into the suspension mode, then you are saving a cost to your organization by making the session into the suspension mode. When it is in resume mode, starting mode, then always it is going to charge, and then you need to pay for that service. So that to avoid, whenever you are using your Snowflake, so for that only we need to pay. If you are not using, it will wait for the continuously 10 minutes and then it will go into the suspension mode. It will go into the suspension mode. When it goes to the suspension mode, then you are saving the cost to your organization. Again, whenever you restart the session, that don't hibernate and all that I don't know. But whenever restart the session, automatically it will start its service. Automatically it start its service. Fine. But this is the beauty of the Snowflake. So this option will be provided in all the virtual warehouses while creation of a virtual warehouses. Fine. So now today we have discussed how do we create the just theoretically I have explained what are the options we have, what are the options we have in a virtual warehouse, how do we create what are the options we have and then how it works. So this is about virtual warehouse, guys. Any questions in this virtual warehouse?
Yes, sir. Only one question. So this auto suspend option is for both auto scale and for maximized, both, right? Both versions.
No, so leave about the option. This is common. If you enable, this is common for our virtual warehouse. Leave about auto cluster and multi-cluster single virtual warehouse.
Sure,
leave about.
Sure, sir. Sure,
this
sir.
is
Yeah.
Common. So this is basic and then common for your virtual warehouse level, irrespective of the options.
Sure, sir. Yeah. So in that case, what I'm understanding is like in the maximize case, right? It is either all or none. So either it's either all the 5 clusters are running parallelly or none of the clusters are running parallelly. So in that case, auto scale will automatically shut down all the clusters.
That is what's here. That's what I'm telling.
Sure, sir.
This is a basic for virtual warehouse level, irrespective of your options.
Yes. Yeah. I think I got it. Thank you, sir.
Irrespective of your options, this is what it will do. Whatever the selection you are going to select and then created that virtual warehouse, if you enable this auto suspension, leave about the options. Only it will look that if you are not using continuously defined minutes. For that, it will work. That's it.
I think I'm clear, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Guys, others. Others. Fine then. Now I have a little bit 2 more points to mention you. I will explain that and then I will stop for today's session. See this Snowflake, how they will calculate the cost for your usage, how they will pricing Snowflake pricing. I will tell you. See, we have a different virtual warehouse sizes here. See here. If you define your virtual warehouse size with the X small, then it will calculate based on the credits. If you define your virtual warehouse size, if you use this virtual warehouse size for 1 hour, it will add the 1 credit. So based on this 1 credit, then you are going to pay the amount to the, based on the 1 credit, you are going to pay amount to the Snowflake. This 1 credit, if you convert into a seconds, then it will become a 0.003. Like that, suppose if you create a virtual warehouse size small and then if you use for 1 hour, then it will generate the 2 credits. For the 2 credits will become a 0.006 per second. So for this, you are going to pay, the Snowflake will charge based on the credits per second. Fine. Per second. Whatever you have used per second, So for that, you are going to pay $2.7 for standard. We have a different editions. We will discuss those editions. Usually you are going to pay $2.7 per second and $4.4 for enterprise edition, and then $5.4 for business critical. We have a different editions based on the editions. The price will be vary. So based on these credits, you are going to pay to the Snowflake company. So based on this virtual warehouse, this is a hardware resource. So the cost will be divided into two parts. And it will generate the cost based on that. One for hardware resource, another for your storage device. Here, suppose if you have taken a subscription from the Snowflake account, you are not using, just you have taken a subscription, you are not using. In that case, you are going to pay $25 per month. You are not going to load any data. You are not occupied. You have not occupied any space. So in that scenario, then you are going to pay $25 per month. Suppose if you added any data into the Snowflake account, if the data is 1 TB, then you are going to pay $40 based on the for 1 TB. You are going to pay $40 per month. If 2 TB, then you are going to pay 2 into $40. Like that, the price will be calculated based on your virtual warehouse and then your storage cost. This is how they are going to calculate the pricing on your Snowflake usage. Clear or not, guys?
Sure, sir. So basically $25 per month is like basic. And what is the max size it can give us?
Maximum size you are based on your data. Suppose if you loaded 10 TB, 15 TB, 20 TB, so based on that you are going to pay.
Okay, so basically, sorry for my misunderstanding, but $25 is the base fee you're saying. Apart from that, for every terabyte,
not apart from that.
Okay.
$25 are, suppose if you have taken a subscription, and for time being you are not loaded any data, you are not consumed any space from the Snowflake. So for that, you need to pay $25. If you are not occupied any space, if you have not loaded any data.
Okay.
So once you started to load the data into the Snowflake based on the storage, then you are going to pay that $40.
Got it. So one up to 1 terabyte, it's $40.
$40, yes.
Up to 1 terabyte. Okay.
Yeah. So this is about pricing and then virtual warehouse options. Tomorrow what we will do? We will create a Snowflake account. I will create a Snowflake account in front of you, and then we will explore what are the options are available in the Snowflake account. We'll try to execute some basic commands, create the database, create the tables, and then etc. And based on that, you can create the Snowflake account, free trial version of Snowflake account. You can create from your end and then start working on that. Is that clear, guys? Tomorrow again we will meet same time. Fine.
Shekhar, can you scroll up a little bit?
1 second. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Here we have a credit per second is equal to 1 credit, like that we have now. So is about they are charging about an addition level. So if it is per 1 hour, just we need to add into 60 seconds, like that.
Correct.
Okay. Or is there any changes in the charges per hourly basis with respect to additions?
Sorry.
With respect to additions, is there any changes in the charges? Like that I'm asking.
No, that's what. See, based on the credits, based on suppose if you define a small, then we have a the credits will vary based on the size, right? If X small, 1 credit. If small, 2 credits. If medium, then it will be 4 credits like that. So based on that, the pricing will be happen. Clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Fine, guys. Tomorrow, so you are comfortable, right? To join tomorrow, even the Saturday. Do you have any issues to join tomorrow? Anyone?
Tomorrow is Friday, right, sir? Sorry. Yeah, tomorrow
Saturday?
is fine. Sorry. In India. Okay, in India. Sorry. Oh, yeah. For us, it's Friday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we are fine. I'm fine. Sorry, I'm fine.
What about others? Bhavana?
Yes. Sure, Shekhar.
Okay.
I can join tomorrow. It's no problem.
Okay. Ishwar? Ishwar? Naga?
I will join, sir.
Yes, sir. I will be joined. I will
Saira?
join. I will join, sir. I any issue, no issues, sir. I will join.
Sanjay?
So one
Fine,
question
guys.
before we leave. Sir, one question before we leave, sir. It's a small question. So apart from what we are actually covering here, is there any documentation that you recommend that we should actually start studying or going through, sir, apart from what you're teaching here?
Yeah, I usually whatever whoever teaches, whoever prepare, whatever Snowflake documentation is the base for that. Snowflake documentation is Bible for the Snowflake. As this is a new technology, we don't get much articles in the Google.
Sure, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Sir, like we have AWS or Azure documentation like that, we don't have any documentation, right, sir, for Snowflake in Google.
Snowflake documentation we have.
What is the URL, sir? Like Snowflake.
Just type it Snowflake documentation.
Okay, thanks. Tomorrow at what time, sir?
Same 7 a.m. only.
Okay, thanks.
Same 7 a.m.
Small request.
Sorry?
While explaining regarding Amazon part or AWS part, please explain the terminologies also. Like we don't have any awareness about that terminology.
See, so in AWS, we are discussing very limited part. We are whatever we required for our Snowflake related things, for that itself we are going to discuss in the AWS. Nothing but how do we create the S3 buckets and how do we create the folders there, and how do we establish the connection between your Snowflake and the AWS, and then how do we load the files in AWS S3 buckets, and then that should be loaded into the Snowflake environment. That part we are going to discuss.
I'm talking about this terminology. Just little bit, if you explain it deeper, that would be great.
Yeah, when the topic comes, then we will discuss that one.
Sure, Shekhar. Thank you.
Yeah. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Then we will meet tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye, sir.
Thank you, Shekhar.